What it actually is a system of checks and balances. And the system of checks and balances keeps everybody honest. All right, that's the reason why the government designed the way that it is. For those who don't know how the government works in America, we got three branches: the executive branch led by the president, the judicial branch led by the Supreme Court, and the legislative branch led by Congress. They check each other. So neither one of them can get out of hand because the other two will check them. So the system of checks and balances keeps anyone from becoming corrupted by having too much power and no counterbalance against them. And what's happened these days with now you got TikTokers and YouTubers and podcasters and independent platforms that are just as good, if not better than the mainstream platforms, is that they are now the system of checks and balances against the mainstream. And all of us who are podcasters and TikTokers and YouTubers and influencers or whatever you want to call the people in this space, we are the system of checks and balances against each other. Because if my podcast is good and you like it, but then my podcast becomes trash and it gets worse, well, you can just stop listening to my podcast and start listening to somebody else's podcast. So I got to stay good in order to keep you paying attention. And if I'm no good, I can't just kick my feet up and keep my audience because you have 1 million other options besides me. That's the system of checks and balances. And this is the reason why I'm an entrepreneur, because in the entrepreneurial space, for those of you who are not entrepreneurs or those of you who want to be and those of you who are, y'all can co-sign this. In the entrepreneurial space, you are in the open marketplace, which means if you're trash, it's going to be obvious that you're trash. And if you are good, it's going to be obvious that you're good. And you cannot be trash and still get good results as an entrepreneur because your constituents, your customers, your clients, your followers, they have other options besides you. So if you stop delivering, you will lose your customers.